What's up, guys? Welcome to Tales of Nerdia. Chapter 350 of Hunter x Hunter is out. You can smile again. You can smile again. I'm so excited for this. It has been over a year since Togashi has written a chapter. Chapter 349 did end on somewhat of a cliffhanger where Kurapika gets a phone call from a member of the Nostrad family telling him that the 6 of the princes that are heading to the Dark Continent, well, actually the New Continent right now, but will be heading to the Dark Continent, are hiring pro-hunters as bodyguards. So Kurapika immediately thinks, I want to get close to the 4th prince. I need to become a bodyguard. So right away, 350 shows us that he has a team of 5, 6 including himself, to take on these requests. He's going to try and infiltrate wherever he can. So he wants one of these hunters each to accept a request from a different prince. And in a non-Hunter-Hunter fashion, I say Hunter-Hunter, by the way, just because the narrator in the show says Hunter Hunter. So sometimes you may hear me say Hunter Hunter instead of Hunter x Hunter. Anyways, in a non-Togashi fashion, instead of introducing us to a bunch of new characters to be bodyguards, we have returning characters. And it's great. We have a good cast here. We have Izunabe, who was the Nen user who taught Kurapika Nen. So that is an interesting choice to bring back. We haven't seen much of him, so I want to see some more of him. I want to learn more about him, and maybe see his Nen. We also have, and I had a feeling he was going to be back, we have finally Hanzo. He's come back! Haven't seen him in action since the Hunter exam. We did see him a little bit. He was in the election arc. He was, we did see him vote in the background there. Also, he was rooting on Gon when Gon was looking like he was going to die. But the last time we saw him in action was all the way back in the Hunter arc, the first arc of Hunter x Hunter. So now he's back, we're going to see him in action. Nen came very easily to Hanzo. He is an information hunter, so whatever prince he goes with, he's going to be very valuable to that prince. So I'm very excited to see how powerful his Nen is. We also have Basho, who is part of the Nostrad family. He is the poet who can make a poem, kind of make it come to life with his Nen. So we'll see him using some of that. We saw a little bit in the York New City arc. Speaking of which, Melody is back as well, part of the Nostrad family, which is great because Kurapika, he's kind of cold, but I feel like he has a good relationship with Melody. She was able to, in the York New City chapter, she read his heartbeat, she could hear his heartbeat, and she learned about him through that, and they had a lot of more personal discussions, and he did open up to her a bit. So I like to see their relationship, because, Kurapika, he's kind of cold. Won't even give Leorio his email address. What kind of shit is that? She is after the Sonata of Darkness. So that, I feel like that could even come up, because we do have the 4th prince who has the Kurta eyes. So clearly a collector. I believe he could also have the Sonata of Darkness, but we'll see. We also have Biscuit, whatever you prefer. She's back. And she was a request from Killua, actually. So Kurapika and Killua had a conversation, and Killua said, hey, bring Biscuit along. The interesting thing is that Killua also tells Kurapika how to get her on his side, and that's by flattering her and saying she's a cute little princess. So we have these hunters. Now we have, including Kurapika, we have 6 pro hunters who are going to accept these requests. Some of the requests are different. They do explain a little bit. Some will be a personal interview with the actual prince. Others won't. They get into the details of those. You can read those in the chapter. But Kurapika basically tells them his plan. I want to infiltrate. I want every one of you to go to a different prince. And we're going to try to get me, Kurapika, to the 4th prince as close as possible to get to my objective. But Biscuit reveals that his objective is really just to get them as bodyguards. As long as you get accepted as a bodyguard, you've completed the mission that Kurapika is giving you. And Biscuit tries to confirm that and said, once we're done with it, once we're accepted and we're bodyguards, our mission for you is over, so we're going to get compensated, right? And Kurapika, in his Kurapika style, kind of throws an insult at her that, if you were perceptive, you would know that. Duh. Why do I even have to explain myself? Kurapika, such a douche. So Kurapika determines that the best prince that he should aim for is Harkenberg. They give some background on Harkenberg in this chapter. Well, the whole chapter, very dialogue heavy, let's just say that. But I don't think no one was expecting anything different. We weren't going to jump right into the action. We're not close to the Dark Continent. Some people are saying, maybe 5 or 6 chapters. The way things have been going since the election arc, I don't see 5 or 6 chapters and all of a sudden we're in the Dark Continent. There's still plenty going on with other characters. Just getting to the new continent and getting through that ceremony, who knows if something will happen at the ceremony? Is that all going to go as planned before we get to the Dark Continent? But you've got so many parties trying to get to the Dark Continent that I do not see us getting there in 5 or 6 chapters like I've seen some people guessing online. So we've got a lot of dialogue in this chapter. They explain some details about Harkenberg, go into his personality, how he's very intelligent. He was he skipped a bunch of grades. He got a gold trophy in archery at a university. But he's kind of the outcast prince, and the only one, they say, who understands him, or he posted on a social media, the only one who understands him is the 4th prince. So this is why Kurapika thinks, I need to look at these requests and get to Harkenberg, because he will get me close to the 4th prince. So Kurapika makes his choice. They all make their choices. Right away, they all get responses with directions of where they should go for their interview or to get a briefing on what's going to happen, how this is all going to work. Kurapika goes to the location he was sent. He's told that the prince is waiting for him to interview him, which surprises him. Looks like it catches him a little off guard that he's going to get to meet the prince right away. He walks in, and who's there? It's the youngest of the princes, being held by her mother. It is a girl, Prince Wobble, or Wobble. There's only one B, so I'm going with Wobble. So he gets to Prince Wobble, and he's shocked. And the mother is not surprised that Kurapika is surprised. And she reveals that she intentionally wanted people to believe that she was Harkenberg. And she discusses that a lot of people are after Harkenberg. So she anticipates that Kurapika is actually after Harkenberg, and explains, she says that you're probably the best one to protect Wobble, Woble, Wobble. But she also reveals to Kurapika that the reason they're hiring bodyguards is because of this almost survival of the fittest. The last prince alive is the one who becomes the king. After hearing this story, he was shocked, but now he knows, and it's not really said here, but of course now it clicks with him that I can kill the 4th prince. Is he going to? We did see in a previous chapter that he was explaining to Mizai that he hasn't had to kill anyone to get the Kurta eyes back. Well, at least the ones since the York New Arc. He hasn't killed anyone to get the eyes. And some of them didn't want to give him the eyes, but he made them. He convinced them to give him the eyes, and he did not have to kill them. So, will he try to kill the 4th prince? Or maybe he'll try to do the same thing, but now he has the opportunity to do it. But the prince will be expecting it. So, after hearing this story from her and the true objective of the prince's hiring bodyguards, Kurapika says, I'll take this request, but I have some conditions, and if you accept, then I will use every ounce of my strength to protect this prince. So it does skip that conversation, but it seems like he explained his mission, and that's to get close to the fourth prince. So they've both agreed that Kurapika will protect the prince, but the mother of the prince will help him get close to the fourth prince so that he can get the Kurta eyes. But again, we don't know if he told her about the Kurta eyes. He might have just said, I want to get close to the fourth prince. He might have said, I want to kill the fourth prince. We don't know exactly what he told her. But they both agree. So then she says, do you want to hold my little girl? And Kurapika accepts, and he holds her, and it's just the baby there in his arms, and he's looking right at her. And you know, since Kurapika is so cold, it's a very touching moment. So it looks like, you know, Kurapika he could have some attachment to this prince. He did already say that I will use every ounce of my strength to protect this prince. But he may have a little more invested now that he has held this child. So the very last page, we see that all the pro hunters have come to an agreement with the princes, and each one that Kurapika has hired is with a different prince. So technically their mission is over. That's it. It's already done with Kurapika. And now their job is to be a bodyguard. They each went with a different prince. There's some minor details. I would check if you aren't familiar with Hunterpedia, the wiki. I would go check that out. You could read a tiny bit about each prince. There isn't too much detail because really much hasn't been revealed. But if you want to read a little bit more about them. And then the final scene, the final panel, is that pot again that gave each prince their sacred beast, their mythical beast, their magical beast, whatever you want to call them. And the way that these panels are organized, you see a prince, and right next to them is the pro hunter. And this could be a little bit telling just by what prince each of these hunters is working for, and then seeing that pot, it's almost as if the pro hunters were pictured as the beasts, but that's probably me reading too much into it. But I did find it a little bit interesting that that's how those panels were organized. So regardless of what I said earlier about these chapters being very dialogue heavy and moving a little slowly, that we probably won't get to the Dark Continent extremely soon, but this chapter did go pretty quickly. There was a mission laid out. Kurapika says, we're going to infiltrate, we're going to get in there, we're going to all become bodyguards, all with different princes, and I'm going to get close to the fourth prince, and boom, they're all already hired, and we see which prince they are with. We saw just Kurapika's interview. We didn't go through every pro hunter talking with their prince, but each one of the princes. So that's over and done with. So what's the next chapter going to be? There really wasn't a cliffhanger there. So are we going to go back to the Zodiacs and beyond Netero? Are we going to jump over to maybe back to the fourth prince, see what's going on in his mind now that bodyguards have been hired? Or are we going to jump back over to Jing and Paristan? But I do want to see some movement. You know, there's been a lot of organization, and I do enjoy these chapters. It takes a little while to get through them all. You know, it's not just flipping through the pages looking at battle scenes. As much as I love the Hunter x Hunter battles, this is good. This is getting juicy. And we're going to see a lot of different parties collide. So the chapter ends. But one thing I'm still curious about is, was each prince only hiring one bodyguard? Are there more bodyguards? Because I expected, besides Hanzo, I expected to see some of the Zoldyck family. Well, wrong way. Zoldyck family. I expected to see them. I would say that, yeah, they're assassins. They don't take just any job. But Zeno did take a job. Granted, it was from the chairman of the Hunter organization, but he took a job just to help infiltrate where the Chimera ants were. So he did take that job. But let's just say that they only take assassination jobs. Let's just say that. Well, this is a survival of the fittest. It's possible that one of the princes is going to hire an assassin, not a bodyguard. they want an assassin to kill the other princes. And who better to do that than the Zoldyck family? We could see some Illumi in this chapter, or in the coming chapters. We could see him in this arc. We could see... Where's he at? Here he is, my boy Zeno in this chapter. Do we think we'll see Hisoka? Hisoka could show up. Bloodlust Hisoka. But we could see some Hisoka because he could simply be interested in going to the Dark Continent just to test himself, because we know that he just likes to fight strong fighters. So I expect him to try to get to the Dark Continent. Or he could be interested in protecting not protecting one of the princes, but taking on a job from them if he knows all the details about killing the other princes. Because then, if they hire strong fighters, he could fight more strong fighters. It's possible. Kite, we could see Kite. He's a contract hunter. He just takes any job. I don't see him being interested in this job. Maybe if he wants to go to the Dark Continent and inspect some of the calamities that could be there, or inspect the things that the calamities are protecting. So a smaller chance, very small chance that Kite could be trying to get to the Dark Continent as well. We don't know. So we'll have to wait till next week. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was my first manga reaction, and I know I kind of just told you the details of the chapter, but I do want to get into more discussion. So feel free to make a comment if you've read the chapter, even if you haven't. But what are you expecting from the Dark Continent? Maybe any expectations of other returning characters, because that is one big thing that happened in this chapter. Returning characters. We don't see that a lot. So let me know what you're thinking. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you next time. We got to see which hunter is with the... We got to see... So we got to see which hunter is with which prince. Is that a sentence? Which hunter is which with...